We're back! Man, have you seen what's going on? It's the normal, same old crazy BS. The yellow shirts, whatever they call it, the Frenchies. 4 weekends in a row, they're burning up Paris. All over Macron, who isn't saying anything. And it's some kind of tax. There was some increased taxation, so then Macron, he told Trump, stay the fuck out of my politics, boy. He said, don't be bothering us. Manage your own shit. And Macron, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't announced anything. He sort of said they were going to manage it. They weren't going to push the taxes out. So it's weird. Apparently, the French political system's the same it's been for the last 30 years. And Macron's doing exactly what all the others have. It's socialism. Of course, socialism. No, it works. It works, Bernie Sanders. Socialism works. Oh, it works. Give all the people. Fucking retards. Yeah, so they got some riots and some stuff going on there. It seems like it was like the one percenters. With marches and shit, and it's gotten a little worse. Now it's more of a movement. What's going to happen? Who the fuck knows? It's good to see, because the French are relatively benign, or have been, after their centuries of chaos. Taking over the world, Napoleon-esque, and all that jazz. But, who knows? Brexit's threatened with problems. Looks like May and the whole plan not coming together like it's supposed to with the timelines and the due dates. Oh, I'm sure it'll go fine. It'll go fine. Where's that guy, Tony? Hey, Tony, we need you back. Everybody's talking impeachment on Trump with Mueller and all this crap. Dude, what did you guys expect? I don't get it. I think it would be relatively easy to catch Trump doing bad things at any time in his adult life. Probably in his young life, in his adolescent life. The guy's a cretin, he's a creep, he's a crook, and he still beat the system! And right now, he's a one on everyone, fighting it with all of his lawyers and everything else, and he keeps just burning through people, because he's got a lot of money, and he can. So you got senators and you got congressmen saying, oh, when he leaves office. And you got Hollywood stars and you got business people. Google, fucking Amazon. Everybody's poo-pooing. And it's funny now, Comey, you puss ass. All these cretin are coming out of the cracks because it seems like it's a movement. Oh, well, maybe we'll have an impeachment. Impeachment! Just like Nixon. What? Down Periscope! I'm innocent. It wasn't my fault. Everyone, I'm out. I just saw that again. That famous shot, and probably because of all this shit, of him climbing on the helicopter. Whatever the hell it is. Not Air Force One. What's the helicopter? The triple, big old Chinooks, or not Chinooks, whatever they are. Whatever. The green ones. They're green. I saw a special on that about the selected pilots for that fucking program. And what those guys have to do with the flight pattern along the Potomac when they go to and from the White House and the restricted airspace, and then transferring them over to Camp David and flying them over to his airport for takeoff. It's pretty rigid shit. And the way you gotta land right on the White House lawn. Pretty cool stuff. Those guys are top of the line pilots, of course. Just like everything else that's supposed to be at the White House. Your Secret Service, your snipers on the roof, all your shit, your super secret intel. Whatevs. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Have to see how this crumbling presidency continues. Fucking shit pile. Good Lord. Not getting much done. Unemployment low. Still. Record jobs available still. Stock market kooky. Up and down, sideways, around, back, behind, underneath, over, under, underdone. Over, under, underdone. Shirley, you must be joking. I never joke, and please don't call me Shirley. So, just a shit ton going on, man. Fucking Putin's moving into Argentina. We flew some big old, spy plane over the Black Sea because the Russians are fucking with the Ukraine. this shit with China and Russia and this new escalation on the Cold War tactics, not good. This is not a good position. This reposturing, fucking Cuba's gonna start to censor fucking media again. And I've seen Putin shaking hands with the young Saudi prince who smoked Khashoggi. Putin's as popular, as smart, and as fucking savvy, globally savvy, and deadly. Way more deadly than Trump. That dude's gonna do his comeuppance, and he's not gonna give up whatever he's got. So I hope we're not heading back to another stupid global posturing of the world powers. Fuck me. But you're not stopping the Chinese. Dude, they're polluting. They're doing whatever they want. Their machine's their machine. They don't give a fuck. The Russians never gave a fuck. Never have. They're flying into Argentina. They're going to try to give them money. The Russians will go everywhere in the world that's troublesome, try to bolster those economies, try to infiltrate and get themselves positioned in those governments just like we do. Go figure. Trumpelstein's a bit of a turd. I don't know. His international policies, we'll have to see. As long as I guess we stay tight with the Israelis and Europe. Seems to be the only thing we've ever tried to continue to make work. I don't know. So there's a shit ton going on there. All over. Just a lot of craziness. The fucking football games yesterday were insane. I was working out up at the clubhouse, and the game with New England was over with Miami, and I'm like, whatever. And some lady was on the little rower in the back, and they got the ball back with 20 seconds, had a couple shit plays or a shit play, and then with 7 seconds left threw this 20-yarder. Because, of course, they were playing, the deep defense, the prevent defense or whatever. So everybody was back. And they threw this hook and whatever. So it was about a 20-yard pass. The guy ran up a little bit, did a lateral. He did another lateral. This guy ran it in. And fucking the epitome, Belichick and the stupid season they're having. Dumb bum Gronk tripping over his size 22 feet. This giant turtle head with his fucking arm brace that probably weighs 20 pounds, his elbow. He was playing defense. He was on the return, or he was on the deep defense. What are you doing? Fuck. So they got smoked and they lost on the last play. And there were people, this is the 6th borough. So there was people from New York and Boston that live down here, and I know a bunch that went to the game, and they can't be happy. I would imagine, they're older. I would imagine they left before that last play. Maybe not. And they had to stand there and watch that shit show. And then drive home. Drive back up here from the stadium down there. New England has had a tough time coming south to the Fish. I think 3 of the times that they went to the bowl, win or loss, they lost those in those seasons to Miami. So it's no telltale sign. Doesn't mean shit. And they're having a tough season again, right? It changes, and it's incredible that they're still where they're at. But they lost, and then Baker Mayfield. Poor Cam Newton. Cam Newton, get the fuck out. Fucking super premier #1 draft pick, future of the NFL. You stink. You dope. God damn. Another one. Another could have been. And Baker Mayfield steps in, little puny puke. Baker Mayfield, I'm going to do it. I'm going to score on you. And he fucking wins. Pittsburgh lost. There was some crazy-ass games yesterday. The Raiders beat Pittsburgh. Fucking 2-7, 2-9, whatever the fuck they are. Beat Pittsburgh. John Gruden. You can never put Gruden out. I hate him. He's way too peppy and hey, John Gruden, he does the telephone calls for what, Corona? John Gruden line. Ooh. Football. Yeah, heck, man. I'll tell you what. You run a side blitz and then send them along with hook and ladder pattern. Shut up, John Gruden. And now he's coaching again. I hope they're paying him a lot of money. It seems like some of those guys are smarter. Though, I'll tell you what, I try to watch Terry Bradshaw, do the fucking play-by-play update. I don't know who gave him that role. He's old. He can't read. Can't keep up with the teleprompter. You have to be quick, crackerjack, brief. You have to speak clearly. He meets none of those criteria, and I think he's like the second on the desk. So that's why he does these things. And he does a terrible job every week. It reminds me of Boomer, who he'd always do the like, because he had 2 heart attacks or whatever, and he should have never been. They ran him way too long as a fucking, major commentary host. Get him the fuck out. I know they got big contracts. They're ruining your Sunday, man. These guys stink. Bradshaw's done. They need to, and he's fun and he's funny. I like it. Get the fuck out. Get the young guys in. What's his name? Shanahan? Not Shanahan. Shanahan, the coach? Man, remember Shanahan's? Yeah, the fucking place. Michael Strahan. Top notch. They got the young guys that are sharp. Howie's even getting, he's a little punchy. And Esiason, Phil, Boomer. And I don't know. But, yeah, weird football Sunday. Good lordy. And then a crap game, late crap game, 6-6, and then 9-9 or whatever. Oh, fuck me. No scoring. Chargers look like poo. Chicago looked good. I don't know. So it's strange all over. There's just a lot of weird shit going on. That's what I'm trying to say. The fights this weekend were epic. We can do a breakdown or not. If you watched them, maybe you did. Most don't. They did not let down. There was blood and gore and brutality and skill and tenacity and heart and drive and excitement, and it was just dandy up there in the Great White North, eh? Yeah, they did Scotiabank proud. That's the best event Scotiabank's had it in I don't know how fucking long after the Clintons. So that went pretty well. A couple shocking. I said there's going to be surprises. And I sort of picked a lot of them, and on a couple of them I was like waffling. I wasn't sure, and that's the way they sort of played out. Though I tell you, I think I underplayed Max Holloway, and I apologize for that. But I was dead on. If Brian Ortega walks into that fucking fight and thinks he's going to stand and throw with Max Holloway, you foolish man. Your coaches should be removed. Whoever fucking told you to walk in there. You ain't striking that good, dude. And he looked like he had a death mask of blood on. Holloway pummeled his brain. Though he had a couple good shots, and he almost knocked Holloway out in the 3rd round, I think. Hit him hard, got him wobbled. But Holloway destroyed him. Skills. Holloway's a fiend. Dana wants him to go up to lightweight. He wants him to move up. And McGregor and Khabib are supposed to meet today with the Nevada Gaming Athletic Commission retards over their UFC 229 debacle, where McGregor got beat up in the ring afterward by Nurmagomedov's cats, and Nurmagomedov jumped out and tried to beat up Dylan Dannon or whatever, that dope on the McGregor corner team. They kept $1 million of his $2 million. McGregor got all his money. I think McGregor put a waiver in. He requested a continuance. He's not showing up today. Khabib will show up. He'll take his lumps and then he'll move on. I bet you he does. And then there's going to be news, and then we're going to have to figure out whatever happens with McGregor. And this is very typical of Conor McGregor. Larger than the UFC, larger than the Nevada Gaming and Athletic Commission, larger than the world and media and his stardom. He's going to write it his way, just like he did until he had to go to court because they were going to throw him in jail in New York after he busted up the bus and had glass shoot all over Michael Chiesa's fucking mullet. Who fights next week? I think Chiesa's fighting. It's a good fight. Chiesa's fighting somebody. But I predicted them. They were pretty epic fights. The Cowboy, Alex, it was Gunnar Nelson against Alex Cowboy Oliveira, the Brazilian, who was beating him up senseless. The Icelandic Viking man was getting pounded. And then an elbow split his fucking brain open. And it was one of a handful of events that I recall where blood poured out of his head. Gruesome! The fight was immediately stopped. Like a car accident. Oh. Those are brutal. Not a mask of blood. It looked like Scream 3. It looked like the blood bag exploded on his head. But it wasn't. It's real. Dude, it's so weird. If you look at real blood and fake blood, real blood's got that shiny, sticky viscosity you can see to it. It sticks and stretches. It's slippery, but it's got the platelets and stuff in it. Ooh, and if you've ever tasted it, it's got that weird irony taste. Ooh, dude, it churns me stomach. Hey, where the fuck's me belt? Yeah, it's gruesome. And it was a gruesome fight. And Gunnar won. But, whatever. Little Joanna champion, she got crushed by Valentina. Shevchenko's a bruiser. And I didn't mention it. They'd gone 3 times prior, 10 years ago in Muay Thai. Shevchenko against the little Polak, and Shevchenko 3 times had destroyed her in the World Championships or whatever. So she sort of had her number. Man, she fast. So fights went the way the fights went. Bop, bop. And I pretty much called them. And I think if you watched them, you enjoyed the shit out of them. Or if you didn't, bitch! Free fights coming up again here, and they're pretty good. It's Kevin Lee, Elia Quinta, and I think, as I said, whomever I just mentioned, they're fighting. Michael Chiesa, or maybe not. Chiesa might be fighting on the John Jones ticket at the end of the month against Gustafsson, the giant Viking. I don't know how that fight's gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I always say that. Damn it! $65. Oh, so much money, but so worth it for fights. The free fights coming up are good. They're this Saturday again. And we'll have to see what happens with McGregor, and we'll have to see whatever. I don't know who Cormier's fighting. If he's gonna fight Big Brock Lesnar, I don't know what the other fights are coming up here. We do have little TJ Dillashaw going down to fight, or Henry Cejudo coming up to fight TJ Dillashaw, either or. That should be a barn burner in early January 19th maybe? And I think Dillashaw will mangle. I don't know. That's a misstatement. That is a misstatement. I don't know who's going to fight that without some thought and discussion. Henry Cejudo is your Khabib Nurmagomedov for the light class. He's a fiend. He's your Mighty Mouse for the light class. He beat Mighty Mouse. It was questionable. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was just favoring Demetrius. I love DJ. Hard to beat him. Always. I don't know. Real close fight. TJ's a striker. Got good BJJ. I think he's a brown belt, maybe a black belt. I don't know. Got good takedown defense. Got good ground and pound. He trained at Team Alpha Male for how many years under your Uriah Flaber. Yeah, so that should be a sick fight, though I will tell you this right now. Henry Cejudo will take TJ Dillashaw down. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you aren't of that level, we've already talked about this numerous times, Olympic wrestlers, nobody stops Olympic wrestlers from taking you down. Dan Henderson, Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo took fucking Demetrius Johnson down 3 times. It was the second fight. First fight he didn't do that. But he's clearly gotten better. He's mixing up his technique so that he's hiding his takedown, yet he's still got that fucking single leg or the deep double leg or whatever. Dude, he did that for decades. Perfected it at the Olympic level. I think Cejudo won the gold in freestyle. He's a freak. You know, Daniel Cormier. You walk in, those guys kill you. They spent their life understanding weight and shifting and grappling. Greco-Roman, freestyle, whatever. Brock Lesnar, college athlete, great collegiate wrestler, all state. He was incredible. I think he was All-American. They definitely have a advantage. They have an advantage. So Dillashaw will get taken down. Cejudo will beat him up a little. Dillashaw will destroy him standing up. That's a no. Dillashaw is tougher than Mighty Mouse standing up. Mighty Mouse is good standing up, and he's diverse with kicks, with punches, with angles, fast in and out, with speed. Nobody as fast as TJ. But TJ is brutal with his dominant cruise style movement. He modified his movement after he left Alpha Male. And he epitomized cruise. He took that weird side-to-side swagger thing where you step, then you move and step, and then you move, and then you step, and you never know what angle the dude's at. And then he perfected the shots. An uppercut coming in, a hook, a Superman, just fiendish. And TJ doesn't have Cody Garbrandt power. Garbrandt, Golden Glove, fiend, who knocked people the fuck out, right? And he knocked TJ the fuck down. And everybody else the fuck out. But Dillashaw's got good power. And Cejudo, you better watch that. So that's going to be a great fight. I don't know who's going to win. And I don't know who else is on that card. I haven't even looked at it. Don't even know. We'll have to cover that later. But what else is going on in the world? What else is going on in the world? What else isn't going on in the fucking world? My God, there's shit going on everywhere. There's leaked emails. There's lies. There's thievery. There's deception. Oh! Maybe it's Satan. Remember Dana Carvey? Satan! Church lady. Where the fuck's church lady now? Yeesh. Yeah, just tons and tons and tons of shite going on, you know? Some weird ones that I probably wanted to bring up, and I'm looking, and I don't know if, dude, why can't you just post videos on YouTube or do whatever? I don't know. I guess if you're putting all of your eggs in a basket where you have to have people click you, clickbait, right? They have to subscribe to you. They have to view your video. You have to get these views, and it's like anything else in this world. Subscription, viewership, it's all sticky downward. Like, I think Rogan now has 4 million subscribers, and he gets on every one of his videos multi-million views. While he's streams them live every day that he videos it out in California at the ex-Weider Studios, where Joe Weider used to have all of his fucking line of, athletic bodybuilding magazine, protein powder, whatever. Rogan bought a building in that campus. He bought the Weider campus building or whatever, and it turned it into his studio now, and it's this giant, big metal building. But he streams 40, 50, 60,000 people watching that live. By the end of that day, it's got almost 1 million views. 5, 6, 7, 800,000 views. If it's a popular interview with an individual that a lot of people know, and not stellar, like Elon Musk is extraordinary. But if it's Jordan Peterson, if it's a good comic that everybody knows, if it's a good rock star, if it's not one of Joe Rogan's people, like a bow hunter or an activist, if it's Dr. Rhonda Patrick, she's brilliant, fucking biomarkers and genomes, and dude, rock star, genius lady. I watched a video with her and one of the doctors, Mark somebody, who is one of the premier doctors on genetic biomarkers and Alzheimer analysis. My father died from Alzheimer's. It's a 50-minute video, and this guy breaks it out. He's got protocol and programs for what they classify as 3 different types of Alzheimer's now. And, 1 and then 1.5 or 2, version 2 of Alzheimer's, very treatable. They can give you a cocktail and a mix, and it can stunt the disease. You can live a pretty functional life as an older adult. The third one, which has the early onset, has a bunch of genetic and then a ton of environmental. And so you got biological and environmental / behavioral things that cause this fucking disease. Like, and when I say environmental behavioral, bad diet, right? Specific foods that you eat, lack of exercise, lack of mental stimulus, right? And you compound this thing with all of these, fucking, dude, you're dead, right? And it aggressively, he still has a program for all those. They put you on specific drugs, they put you in a specific programmatic paradigm where you have activities, you have scheduled evaluations, you have consultation, you have all these things, man. And of course, it's probably brutally expensive or whatever, but he's proven in his studies that they're having massive impacts on Alzheimer's. And the Alzheimer's research has become, finally, it's taking priority with some of these other, global major diseases. I think in, a number of years here, 5 years, 10 years, they'll eradicate it, much like we did AIDS. And they won't eradicate it. They'll eradicate fatalities from Alzheimer's, and they'll eradicate, other than, rare cases where you're not treated. And I'll call them rare because there's hundreds of thousands of cases that are treated. They're going to be able to stop the disease. They won't be able to cure it, but they'll be able to stop it. They're finally understanding, how the amyloid plaque builds up, what it is, these tau tangles, how these fucking anomalies show up in your brain, and then how they, these proteins kill the ability of your neurons to fire, and you have these dead portions of your mind. They're getting really good with it, which is weird because we don't understand shit about the mind, but that kind of research is awesome. And I watch that and I'm like, Rhonda Patrick, she's fucking epic. And I'm not talking about stupid shit like, hey, if you have EPO-A1A or whatever, you have this gene marker, but which is interesting as shit. Now you know why you flush when you drink alcohol, right? Or something weird. And I'm telling you this shit again to fucking everyone out there. If you haven't gotten your genes spun because of your religion, because of your ethical or moral, get the fuck out of here. Jesus. And I get it, man. I just read that they want to build a global database of all of our fucking biogenetics, which is scary. That's Big Brother shit. And if you haven't read recently in the last 2-3 years, they've gone to these genetic data structures from 23andMe, from Ancestry.com, and they're comparing DNA from unsolved mysteries, murders, cases against these, and they're finding, dude, and it's brilliant. It's Tom Cruise shit where the fucking wooden ball's gonna drop and there's gonna be a murder in 5 minutes that you gotta stop. Fucking weirdo crap like that. What was it, Conspiracy Report or whatever the fuck? But personally, and you can hold all of your information privately, and I know that means nothing, because once you spit and you get your, saliva spun and they've got your shit, the possibility that you show up in some kind of database globally in the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, whatever, it's likely. Are you not a law-abiding citizen? Are you not somebody that's got ethical and moral standards? Who gives a fuck? And you know what? Are there mistakes? We've talked about this before. Of course there's mistakes in the fucking judicial system. Well, it's very unlikely. And the ability for you to know that you have sickle cell anemia potential, that you are 8 times more likely to get Alzheimer's, that you have a diabetic genome type, that you have weird things for weight gain, for dimples, for hair loss, for anything. It's expanding daily. You can live a healthier, more fruitful, more knowledgeable life. Knowledge is power, man. That you have iliac disease, that you do, dude, the gut biome is becoming core to your fucking health. Leaky gut syndrome. The shit that goes on with your shit, and if you're eating wrong, the garbage that we're putting in our bodies anymore. There was some movie with Viggo Mortensen on. I didn't watch it. I just saw a snippet. Captain Fantastic or something. He's raising these 6 kids off the grid. And his wife apparently is sick, so they send her back to where her parents are. They treat her, she dies. And I don't know the story, but I jumped in. They're living out in the woods. He's got these kids self-schooled, they're homeschooled, they're living off the grid, they're hunting, gathering, living on their own. And he's got them in programs. And of course, off the grid, he's a bit of a quasi-political nut. So, Christians are bad, right? The government, stick it to the man. They know multiple languages. But it's weird, dude, because there's parts of it in there that relate. And I'm like fucking watching that, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So, and I don't want to rant and rave, but, that's the way it is. And we've got to understand that, and it's cool to see. It's cool to see those perspectives that are out there. Get your genes spun. Figure it out. Figure out how you live. Try to utilize that in a beneficial manner. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing ethically wrong. There's nothing religiously wrong with that. And that's not fair for me to say, and I don't want to be controversial, but motherfucker, knowledge is power! Oh no, what are they gonna do with that? Dude, they're already injecting stem cells into people. They just Trump pulled some kind of stem cell research for HIV shit. That's Trump he's got classic quasi-political views. He's retracting a ton of the goddamn environmental legislation that was put in for protective lands. I get it. He wants to... Dude, we've just become the biggest producer for petroleum on the globe. If you don't know that. We surpassed Russia and Saudi Arabia. Huh? What? Those are the fucking reserves that this nation had. How come we were never told that before? Wait. Well, we didn't have the technology for all your shale oil. We didn't have da. And yet, why is the price... Do you want to know why the price of gas is whatever it is? Because it's a fucking machine. You know where a lot of our petroleum products go? Into export. We sell them globally. You know what we continue to do? Buy petroleum products from Russia. Why? Because it's so fucking complicated and broken. And I think right now, Louisiana, down in New Orleans, somewhere around there is only one of the large ports that can handle a lot of this petroleum production. I mean, bigger than and again, military. You go to Virginia Beach, you got the Naval Shipyard and all that shit. You go out to California, you got a lot of federal shit out there too. Los Angeles Port of LA, Miami, it's a fucking vacation port down there, and then it's an outdoor for sex traffickers, for drugs. Fucking Miami. Gigantic port for goods. But they're trying to expand that, and we're building pipelines. The United States is the biggest petroleum producing country on the globe right now. Yup. We have become net. They call it net. We're a net petroleum producer. Dude, that shocked me. It did, but it didn't. Because this is where we've been heading, and this is what fucking Trumpelstein wants to do. And what's the fuck? OPEC, I think Saudi Arabia just left OPEC, if you aren't up to speed on that. They walked. Maybe it was Saudi Arabia, maybe it wasn't. I don't know who it was. One of the big OPEC members walked the fuck out, and it was mostly political. It was a position thing, right? It's gotten weird with fucking petroleum products, which I tell you what, that's why Musk's got to get these goddamn cars, the Google cars, they got to get these fucking things out there. Make them! But you know what? Petroleum products are in everything. They're in plastics. They're in so many fucking items we use nowadays. The dead dinosaurs. Me and my buddy Phil Cummings, I love that dude. We'd sit there and talk about, you know what? Those are dinosaurs. Those are carbon life forms that decayed in the earth, that turned into oil. Fucking A. You gotta stop and think, how much living matter was there back then? Plant and animal. Where you've got these massive fucking reserves of oil. And then you got all these fucking religious and otherwise retard zealots, and they want to dispute. I don't know. Dude, I was going to bring it up in a prior podcast. We're on the cusp of making the religious institutions extinct. And I don't want to be controversial, but if you ain't studying the science, you're always going to have believers. Faith is faith. Science is going to show fact. We're going to be making people. You're going to have to sit and ask yourself, talking to something that we made, does that have a fucking soul? Only God can give it a soul. Really? That's a fucking machine. Seems like it's got a soul to me. I already told you what I think about my dog. She's got more soul than fucking half the bluesmen in Mississippi. It's going to get weird, and it's going to be controversial, and it's going to get violent and scary, and there's going to have to be real calm and thought over this shit. Big fucking problems. And I'm just predicting generalities, man. That's the way I see it. You're going to have people talk about the past and Jesus and Muhammad and fucking the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, Vishnu, all these people and all their beliefs, and maybe they're good stories, but I'll show you what's real right now. There's your clone army. What do you want, a kid? What do you want it to look like, be like, grow like? Ooh, we're going to get into some weird places here, and it's alarming. But I'm ranting. Lots going on. I think it's going to be a great week. Arrgh! I'm fired up for it. Fired up for it. Motivational. I think coming up here, I'm going to start working on, and I don't know, because there's distractions. It is the holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Chanukah. Chanukah. I think we're on the 7th night of Hanukkah. I don't know. I don't know what night of Hanukkah we're on. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I think they did the dreidel. I think I'm going to work on weight loss here. Quick and dirty, I'm at about 250, 255. Eeks, I spent a lot of time here in the last years, and this year especially, building muscle. Got the muscle mass up. Muscle mass, they are! I'm gonna have an aneurysm. So, I've got to get rid of this, but you can't build muscle without some fat. And I went a little literal on that, or a lot literal. Told you, man, we got the propensity for fatness in my family. I love food. Tracy made jambalaya last night. I had a plate that it was reminiscent of my father. I can remember my mother making my father spaghetti and meatballs on a normal plate. The plate was covered and it mounded up, and we used the thick spaghetti, right? Not the angel hair or the thin noodles. It was the fat noodles. And she'd steam them, and sometimes they'd get a little fatter because they'd absorb more moisture. But this thing mounded up like in Richard Dreyfuss in fucking Close Encounters. Remember when he went crazy at the dinner table and made the fucking tower out of mashed potatoes? Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, kids, this is where I saw it. Devil's Tower. It wasn't Devil's Tower, but it was a mountain. And remember, he was born in 29, I was born in 69, so he was 40. So he was 50 or 52, 55 when he was eating this. Piled up, and then she'd slather it with her sauce, and Rita's homemade spaghetti sauce. And I say this a lot, and I got in trouble a lot in my life, telling people, it's just my mom's sauce, man. And we're not Italian, we're Polacks Irish, we're mostly Irish. So Rita's good at drinking beer, spaghetti. Oh. She put oregano and parsley and basil. Oh, she'd use the whole tomatoes, the crushed tomatoes, the tomato sauce, the tomato paste. She'd make her own meatballs, hamburger, breadcrumbs. Oh my God. But he had a round plate that mounted up, was covered in red sauce, beautiful sauce, and she put like 5 or 6 meatballs on it. I remember looking at that plate going, fuck. And Jack would go, Jesus, Rita, he'd feed an army with this. And he'd take the fucking Parmigiano cheese, hey, and he'd sprinkle half the can on it and spin. He'd take a spoon, Grandpa DY, and a fork. Spoon, spin the fork so that you had a whole fork full of noodle. And then he'd break up the meatball. Oh, could he put it away? I had jambalaya last night, just like that. I ate so much, and I felt bad for a minute, and then I ate a little more. Tracy made some fabulous shrimp, hot smoked sausage, yellow, green, red, orange, pepper, shrimp, chicken, onion, cayenne pepper, hot pepper, red pepper flakes. Fucking fabulous. Yeah, rice. She made a whole pot, the giant, 3-quart of it. Oh, so I'm going to be eating that for a while. Jambalaya. Cajuns. Love those Cajuns. Anyway, that's where we're at. There's lots going on. Let's have a good week. God bless you. I told you, I'm going to start to tone down. I think. I'm going to make an announcement in the future here. And we'll do, shots. We'll see where we are. And then we'll take weekly, maybe every Friday. We'll see what we've lost. We'll take some weight, some scale set shots and stuff like that. More to come on that. I've got to tone down. I'm about 252, 255. I think I got to get down to 200. 50-pound weight loss. What? Yeah, I got to do it. 49 years old. Big dogs die young. Got to go. All right. Have a good week. Have a good day. Have a good night. Out!